Life Spice, and for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be adding a little spice into your life. I'm Kat, Marie, and Wango. And today we have a guest who's going to talk about an experience that I've had, Marie has yet to have, and Wango, thanking his lucky stars right now, he will never have to have. That's childbirth.
Yeah, maybe in like 8 years I will experience that.
Yeah.
Okay. Never.
So with us this evening to talk about home births, home water births in specific, and VBAC births is Monica Eleazar Manzano. She is a yoga instructor, mother of 2, entrepreneur, and super health advocate. So thanks for coming on the show, Monica.
So Monica, can you explain to us what is water birth and VBAC? Because I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
And she's got to get educated.
Yeah.
Well, water
for 8 years.
Giving birth in the water.
Okay.
So I think there was a Russian doctor who was studying this and began doing births in Russia in the ocean, and then they started doing it in a hospital setting as well, in some hospitals in France. So there are doctors that are advocating this because it's very, very gentle, the transition from the womb out into our world, because the womb is wet, of course.
But can the babe get like drowned or something?
No, because they weren't breathing air in the womb. So it's just natural for them to come out in water.
If I'm not mistaken, it's like as long as you don't cut the umbilical cord right away.
Or as long as you don't bring the baby out of the water, they will not drown. Okay. So it's very important that you stay under. Your hole from belly down is beneath the water.
Okay, so a Russian doctor was doing this, and they did it in France, and then you decided to do that in the Philippines.
There is now a huge following worldwide because of all the benefits of doing a water birth. So I actually did a VBAC, and that was another question you had, which is a vaginal birth after cesarean section. Because 7 years ago, I gave birth to my son via C-section. So this is actually still taboo in many in the hospital because they think that it's unsafe, but I am living proof
so when
that
you do
it is not. It's actually very
when you
safe.
do a C-section, you cannot do a normal.
That's the old traditional way.
Okay.
People used to think that it wasn't possible, and doctors would say one C-section and that's it.
That is a famous saying. So even my parents thought that I was insane for doing so. But
and your husband?
I've read so many books. I really educated myself. I filled myself with a support system and people around me who supported my decision to do a natural birth because I know I can.
Your husband agreed?
Yes, he finally did. Because I was really gung-ho on my decision that I'm having
I think
this
it might be hard. He was there the whole time, right?
Yes, he was there with me.
And I understand that you even had to move location to even be allowed to have your water birth because the location where she lived didn't allow it.
Yes.
Like, the district doesn't allow women to give birth outside of the hospital.
In Quezon City, there's currently a home birth ban. Meaning that if I had given birth in my old city where I used to reside, they would, with my midwives, they would have stripped my midwives of their licenses. So my midwives told me, oh, I'm sorry, but if you decide to give birth in Quezon City, I will not be able to be there in your birth. So of course I wanted them there. So I had to move back into my old city where I grew up in San Juan. And that's where I had my water birth. But the funny and the irony of all of it is they weren't even there during the time of my birth. So it was
you did it by yourself?
Birth. Unassisted. It was just my husband and I, and a doula, which is just like a birth cheerleader for your support and for giving you massages. But for any intervention whatsoever in terms of your health or the health of your child, it's really a midwife, a skilled midwife that you need. But they weren't there during the time of my birth. So I could have given birth in Quezon City.
Yeah, actually.
But you said it took you, there was a 7-year gap, right?
Yes,
before your next child. Were you always thinking about doing a natural birth? I mean, how does someone who has gone through the whole medical the medical process, whatever, of childbirth, all of a sudden do it naturally? I mean, what led to this?
I've always wanted a natural birth, but then, of course, if you're I was only 26 years old back then, and I thought that the hospital had my best interest, so I just gave my power to them. I'm like, okay, you do what's best. I thought I knew that they would, know what's best for me. So okay. I just gave up when they gave up on me. That's how I feel. Okay, but I'm not against doctors.
Yes. Yeah.
And I believe cesareans save lives, but I think it's not for everyone. And I believe that the hospitals isn't necessarily a venue for women to birth, because it's for people who are sick, and birthing women aren't sick.
Oh, but it makes me a bit horrified to think about giving birth like a baby in blood in my house.
That's how we used to do it for millennia.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only in the past 100 years or so that we started thinking that women giving birth in hospitals is the norm. But back then, even if I ask all my helpers at home, where did you give birth? It's usually at home. In the provinces, up to now, they still do it at home.
So if any of our viewers were interested in having a VBAC or a natural home birth, what would make them eligible?
Well, the doctors would say wait for about 2 to 3 years. Okay?
After your first cesarean.
After your cesarean. But that is a doctor who believes in a VBAC, and not everyone does. Because doctors aren't trained for a natural birth. I mean, they're trained surgeons. So you should really find a doctor who will birth with you, who will labor with you.
And the baby has to be, the head has to be down, right?
Yes.
Ideally, yeah.
But they've done VBACs and they've done water births that are breech, meaning feet down.
Yeah.
Really?
It's possible.
Very possible.
So if someone is interested in doing this natural birthing situation, what are the recommendations for them? I mean, I'm sure they're gonna need like a tub or a pool.
Is there a special pool?
Yeah. There's a picture of Monica's pool in there somewhere.
Yeah, I borrowed the birthing
There we go.
pool.
Okay.
A birthing pool. You can purchase one on Amazon.
Okay.
And you can also, well, I wanted a birthing pool because it goes all the way up. But women who aren't as tall as I am can just buy a kiddie pool. I would have given birth in a kiddie pool.
That's fine.
And that's fine, as long as it's clean.
If I'm not mistaken, there's also something about the light. I mean, it shouldn't be too bright.
Temperature.
Yes, of course, because
There's
like
a picture of you with
all the other mammals and animals in our beautiful universe, they like, if you were giving birth, they like to give birth alone, usually in the dark.
Okay.
Because with bright lights, as opposed to giving birth in the hospital, which I experienced, what happens is like you're automatically on fight or flight mode.
Right.
Because so many strangers are staring
Around
at
you,
you,
yeah.
looking at you and waiting for you to birth, and you're like, oh, it's like wanting to poop. And you can't poop with people around you, right? You want to poo in peace. So leave me alone. So that's
like all the holes in your body clamp up.
exactly
Right.
It's the same. The anal sphincter, it's the same holes we're talking about.
Right,
And I
right,
talked
right,
about it in my birth story, which I blogged about as well. So it's the same thing. When I was about to birth, it's the holes that we're talking about opened up only when we were left alone. So my midwives were there, but then my contractions stopped when they were waiting for me to birth.
You were having the labor, they were there.
They were there,
waiting.
and they went home.
And
When they went home, that's when I gave birth.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
What was the hardest part about it?
The hardest part for me was just, I'm very hard-headed. So even the hardest part was people judging me with my decision. Because the easiest part was birthing. Oh yeah, that's I would tell all my co-yoga teachers, because they're like, isn't it so painful? I'm like, it's just like a marathon. It's just doing yoga for 24 hours. Ashtanga's even harder. I would tell them.
That doesn't sound very good for them.
But yeah, it's very, very bearable, because when I was in the hospital, as I have experienced, it was much more painful when you're not allowed to move, because you're not using gravity, okay? And when you're not moving, it hurts. But when you use, I know all of this because I'm a yoga teacher, right? So when I was doing my yogic poses, my squats and all of this, it would just diffuse the pain. So every time I'd come into a contraction, I just have to do my pelvic tilts. I would sit on top of this yogic ball, and then I'd work with my breath, which is really helpful. Really, really helpful. And this is why you don't even need to numb ourselves down with whatever medications.
And I guess in the water also you feel lighter, so it makes it easier.
I didn't even go into the water until until my baby came out.
Yeah.
So I was in the water for like 10 minutes.
Wait, who got the baby from there?
I did.
You got your own baby?
Yes. I felt my.
Oh my gosh!
It is an amazing experience. Like for a mother to get your own child, okay? It's like if I can give birth to my own child without any medications, you feel like Superwoman. You can do anything.
Monica,
it's so liberating.
It's true. I feel like I mean, natural birth, people forget the human body is actually made to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I had a natural birth as well in Australia in a hospital, but with midwives. And right after my baby came out, they're like, "You're good? All right, go take a shower." Like I really had to just get up, have a shower, and my husband's like, "Are you serious? You can actually do this?" And then they're like, "All right, you're fine. Roll your baby to your room." Like
I would like to have a normal, as well.
but I mean, considering how medical oriented our society is now and our culture is now, people might think that this is like new agey, or is it new age or hippie, or no, it's not. It's not, right?
I have to admit, a lot of hippies tend to choose this kind of birth, right? Anything pharmaceuticals, they're like anti-everything, right? I acknowledge the medicine world is there for the people that need intervention. For me, for someone that has gone through C-section, I feel that we should have the choice.
Yes.
Women should never be robbed of the choice. And that's why we have this whole campaign against the home birth ban.
Right.
Because I feel that women should be able to choose where and with whom they feel that they want to birth with.
I'm sure they have a reason why they banned.
Of course, they have valid reasons. But I think that their decision to ban home birth in general.
Maybe they could set up rules for that.
Educating. Education is very important, and supporting skilled midwives instead of taking out the midwives altogether.
Right.
okay, so you mentioned that you have your birth story on your blog.
Yes.
And we've read it. I hope you don't mind if I pull out an excerpt.
Of course, go ahead.
By the way, we'll leave the address of Monica's blog for everyone to read as well. This is around after your daughter was born. So Irina, my doula, brought a bowl of water where the placenta was washed right next to the baby. Deborah, I guess is
my midwife,
asked me if I wanted to try having some raw placenta to eat, and I agreed. She cut off a small piece, which she blended into a banana yogurt smoothie for me to drink. I gulped it down at once, afraid of any foul tastes, but there was none.
None.
Okay.
You ate or drank your own placenta.
Yes.
Why?
Oh, all mammals do eat their placenta.
But I mean, they don't think, right? They do. So.
Because they follow their instinct. It's a lot of women, all women, okay, suffer from blood loss, crashing of hormones right after birth. We don't talk about it, but a lot of women suffer from depression after giving birth because your hormones just crash. You're so full of hormones during your pregnancy. And then after postpartum, we suffer from mild to a very high form of postpartum, and we never really talk about it, right? So my midwives and I studied that if you ate your placenta in any form, so what we did was she took a cotildan, a small piece, and blended it, and I drank it. But I saved the whole placenta because I didn't want to sever the umbilical cord of my child. So we practiced the lotus birth, which is the most gentle birth you can give your baby.
Okay.
Because we know about...
So we didn't cut the cord?
The cord, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because if you cut the cord right away, which is, I think, normal practice in our hospitals, right? You lose 1/3 of your baby's blood supply.
1/3?
1/3. That's huge.
That's a lot for something so tiny.
Right.
If I got 1/3 of your blood, you would have to go to the ER right now.
And get a transfusion.
Yes, exactly. That's why so many babies actually lose their blood right from the start. And for me, a lot of people are starting to save the stem cells.
Yes.
From
It's such a trend.
It's a trend right now, right? For me, my advocacy is leave the placenta and leave the umbilical cord. That's the original stem cell that's supposed to be in your baby in the first place. Then saving it for future. Because why would you wait for your baby to get sick when you can?
So how long do you keep it?
Yeah, how long do you keep
It depends. If you're doing a full lotus birth, you wait until it naturally falls off.
How long did that take?
For Maya, 3 days. She kicked it off the third day when it was really brittle and dried out.
Like, and does it smell? It starts smelling?
Well, that's why I treated it with salt. I placed pure grade essential oil, lavender.
Right.
We placed rosemary. So it was fine. It was like meat. It looked like a piece of meat right beside Maya and I in a basket.
And how do you get her? Like, because she has the cord attached.
Yes,
and,
you know what? Babies that have the placenta attached, I've read in so many accounts, they're very, very good. They're not crybabies at all. So Maya was very well behaved when she was attached to her placenta, and I just fed her.
So you said you
While lying down,
have another kid, right? 7 years
Yeah,
old.
7 years old.
Do you see the difference between the C-section and now with Maya?
Definitely, I'm not sure if it just so happens that my son is more temperamental than Maya because he was definitely a high need child. I had to carry him. He was crying for 4 months. And I lost so much weight. I couldn't put him down at all. And Maya is such an angel. So I'm sure I can account, probably it's because of the gentle birth.
And do you see the difference also after eating your own placenta?
Yes, because even right now, each time I'd have mood swings, I'd just take my placenta powder because now it's in powder form.
You still have
Yes, because the placenta after she kicked it off,
It dried up, yeah.
I dehydrated it and I pounded it into powder form.
You did it by yourself?
Well, yes, me and my helper. Placenta encapsulation, which some doulas offer this service in the whole world, internationally and even here locally.
You don't need to do this in a lab. You can do this at home.
You can do it at home.
Okay.
Yeah, there are recipes online on how you can cook with it as well if you'd like. So I use it as a powder. I put it in my smoothies. Some people, if they don't practice full lotus birth, they cook the placenta, and they do this in traditional Chinese medicine. It's really for the health of the mom.
Because I heard the placenta is like full of nutrients. It's like
Super.
People put them in creams, right?
Right,
Yeah.
They make it into soaps. Placenta. I mean, what do you do? What do people do with the placenta in the hospital? Either throw it, or they probably steal it and
Sell
make
it.
it into sell it into beauty products. You
But like
never
you-
know. It's your right. It's came
Right.
from you. You should take it home.
you have mentioned also that yoga was able to help you get through the difficulty. So should pregnant women get into yoga, or is it something that people who want to become mothers should be interested in taking?
I highly recommend it. I would recommend it even before deciding to have a baby because you need to detox from within.
Right.
Okay? Before even planting. If you're planting in a plant box or in your
Right.
garden, you need to treat the soil first.
Yes.
Right? Before even putting that seed.
Right.
So same thing with our bodies. So I would highly recommend mothers because when you practice yoga, it's the same yoga moves that you're going to, it's even the same positions in sex. It's the same things that you're going to do in birthing. How you get the baby in is how you get the baby out.
Oh.
So you're on all fours and you're moaning. It's exactly the same thing. It's release.
I started doing yoga recently, and so now I'm never going to be able to do the happy baby pose the same way again.
I'm already about 8 years, so start practicing.
Yeah, I should.
Now, this holistic way of birthing, is it a trend growing in the country? Do you feel?
Definitely. When we started an online Facebook page called Gentle Birth in the Philippines. When I joined, we were just a few members, and now we're over 100 people, and more people started to birth the way I did, okay, after my birth. So I feel that we're planting seeds all over the country.
But like that's not medically approved, right? There is no research that says that a water birth is better.
It depends who you talk to. There are doctors who would recommend it because there are hospitals that have the water birth facility, like in St. Luke's in the fort.
In Sydney, all the labor rooms have water birth rooms.
Really?
Yeah.
But there are also doctors who aren't educated in that field, so they would say, oh, maybe that is not safe. But it's because they don't know about it. So our advocacy really is to get as many people possible to learn the gentle methods of birthing, because your birthing may be safe, but is it gentle for the baby? And we're really changing the world one baby, one birth at a time, because this is the first imprint of your baby into this world, and you want it the best, right? The first memory of your child.
You guys don't give orientation seminars. Basically, this is just, I'm interested, you join the group and people talk about it.
And we share resources.
Okay.
We have meetups, and we do talk about a lot of issues online. So if they'd like to follow Gentle Birth in the Philippines, they can look for us on Facebook.
Okay.
And we can share knowledge there. And yeah, if there are doctors interested, we'd love to have them on board if they want to do the gentle birth path as well. So yeah, I'm so glad that more mothers are actually choosing this as well.
But have you experienced or heard that it brought any harm for the baby, like that a baby drawn not, right? But I don't know, it affect them in a bad way?
Well, birth in itself is risky. Even if you didn't birth at home, children also die in hospitals. It's just not talked about. So birth itself is risky, but it is also very normal. And so it's up to you to armor yourself with knowledge. So with me, it's really because I made that firm decision that I'm going to birth this way.
Yes.
And I'm going to really, I set my mind and I did all the things. I prepared my body. I was doing yoga throughout my pregnancy. Well, I gained so much weight, so that's a big no-no.
Okay.
I was like 180 pounds.
With Maya?
With Maya, and even with Santi, 187. I gained like 60 pounds always in all my pregnancy. So even if you gain weight, natural, normal, home birth, water birth is possible, VBAC. And doctors would tell you, oh, you can only gain like 20 pounds.
Right.
Or else you cannot. Hospital, yeah. So, and I gave birth at my 41st week. So that's
a week overdue.
A week overdue. Usually they'll already give you medication.
They'll induce you.
They'll induce you because they want you to birth within 40 weeks. So, you know, I'm living proof of so many things that people think you should do, but I didn't do.
Yeah.
Meaning birth is just so broad and it's different per person. So you should always read and not just have blind faith in your caregiver.
Right.
Health giver, yeah.
Would you like to invite people to read your blog? Well, what's the address if people want to find your blog?
Yes, my blog is birthingbeyond.blogspot.com. I wrote about my birth story there and how I prepared for my birth, and even postpartum, like what are the things looking back that I did right, which I believe gave me the dream birth that I always wanted after a C-section.
What about the yoga?
Yes, your
You
yoga.
want to tell us?
Yes, I do teach at Beyond Yoga. So I teach yin yoga, I teach vinyasa, I teach anti-gravity. I also do retreats at flowsurfyogasamba.com. So they can find us on Instagram, flowsurfyogasamba.com, or on Twitter, surfyogasamba.com. I will also be doing a retreat soon for pregnant moms or moms to be on health and on the birthing process. So please watch out for that on my social feeds.
Exciting.
Let's bring Maya here so we can say bye to everyone with Maya.
Is that alright?
Is that okay?
I'm not sure if she's
Okay.
Maya, go.
She's been talking the
she
whole
wants.
She wants to feed.
Yeah, I think she wants to come here.
So I bring Maya.
Hello.
So guys, that's Maya.
She's been talking the whole time. She's like, I want to join the talk too.
Right. We're talking about me. Might as well.
Hi, sweetie pie. Oh.
So Monica, thank you so much for coming the show. It was amazing to hear about that. I would totally think about it in a few years.
And I'm definitely calling you for number 2. So thank you again,
Thank you
Monica.
so much.
It was so
for having
informative.
me. Bye.
See you guys
More
next
power.
week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Next week, everyone. Bye.
The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the New Media Factory. Some programs on this network might include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.